This was actually a pilot project that I started back in 2023 and it still is ongoing. I have to acknowledge several members of our research group who actually helped with this project, namely Rania Ben Amor, Goretti, Yvette Miriam Gomez, and Natania Miker. They're part of this group, and we had some discussions about things, but then I did this pilot project for Persian and then developed it further. So we haven't continued our research group yet, but probably for the next semester, we are going to again ask the people to join us if they want and just create another research group. So today I will touch on some of the concepts that probably you know, but I just want to review it quickly. TBLT, task-based language teaching, language technology effectiveness, and then about the virtual reality and AI. And then I will mention some of the literature on VR in education, VR games. There is an example for VR games here, AI in virtual worlds. And then I will show you how I design a task for my Persian classroom using virtual reality. And then I will demonstrate how it worked. Of course, it's a pilot project, so we had a lot of probably technical difficulties, but I managed to record the class to the point that probably I can demonstrate it somehow, but I will show you it was not like the optimized way I could do that because we didn't have microphone and things like that, but probably you will have a sense of what was going on. And then we are going to talk about, we are going to talk about reflections on using language technology, and I will also explain the steps that I did and the apps that I used so that if you want to replicate this project, it would be possible. So task-based is using a real-world action, for example, reporting a car accident to a police officer, showing an apartment to a home buyer, navigating someone through a location or a map. So these are different types of tasks. These are like real tasks because in reality, people do the same thing. However, if we want to, implement a task-based teaching, we have to break down those tasks into pedagogical tasks, and then we have to sequence them from like less complicated ones to more complicated ones. For example, a kind of a listening activity, just one speaker would be like simpler than a dialogue between several people. So we have to like sequence these tasks. TBLT promotes learning by doing. So imagine that if you are working on a task of reporting, an accident to a police officer, imagine that in that task, there are these pedagogical tasks like describing the accident in detail, narrating, finding a solution, asking questions. These are like several tasks that can be imagined during this task. So there are principles for task-based teaching. We design tasks, target tasks based on learners' needs. So we do a survey and find out what the students' needs are. And then we choose tasks. And then we classify target tasks under task types. For example, it is a reporting task, decision-making, problem-solving, analyzing, navigating, jigsaw, etc. And then we design the sequences, design the pedagogical tasks and sequence them. For example, narrating, comparing, offering solutions, describing in detail, finding causes and effects, following instructions, things like that. So I will explain later on what was my task design in this project. So then another principle is that we can enhance and elaborate on authentic material and meaningful input. We make meaningful input. We don't impoverish or simplify. We do not engineer the task or text. So we do not like create a text full of grammatical points because we want to teach them. No, we are going to get the authentic text and let it lead the way. So we maximize the use of target language. We play the role of the teacher as a facilitator. We promote collaborative and interactive learning. We focus on form. And by focus on form, I will read you one quote from Michael Long. So overtly draws students' attention to linguistic elements as they rise incidentally in lessons whose overriding focus is on meaning or communication. This is the definition of focus on form, because some people think that focus on form is focusing on grammatical things or teaching grammar. It is explaining grammar, but it's not like all about grammar. So we have to let the learners discover the grammatical rules, and then once they are producing the output and we find the error, the issue, then we jump on where we provide corrective or persuasive feedbacks. You know that there are several types of feedbacks, recast, negative feedback, positive feedback. So in this way, we kind of focus on form. So we try to increase accuracy. Language technology effectiveness. Language technology still is in development. We know that language technology can engage learners, can provide multimodal and multisensory input, visual, auditory, and tactile. Tactile means like feelings with like the body, you know, so with movements. In technology, they also call them haptic feedback. So it's kind of creating an immersive interactions with our learners. So multimodal input enhances learning process. You can look at the literature and the research that has been done. Multisensory learning works by tying new memories to existing webs of associations. By incorporating multiple senses into your learning practice, you can create a stronger networks of associations and remember things more clearly. So imagine that, for example, if you think of a memory and that memory involves colors, sounds, different types of senses, emotions, even emotions. So you remember that better. That's why multisensory is very important. But in case of technology, there is also an overload. We have to be careful not to overload this multisensory so that distract the learner from the main purpose. But it's very effective if we can have like right meaningful multimodal input for our learners. Language technology can be also adjustable to learner pace. So it creates less stress and anxiety. It can be interactive and collaborative. So based on interactive hypothesis, meaningful negotiations among learners are conducive to second language acquisition, Long 1983, and collaboration in building knowledge together or sociocultural interaction is beneficial to language learning. So these are all beneficial and has been proven beneficial in some of the research done in the literature. The effectiveness of language technology can simulate real-world tasks allowing learners to immerse themselves and actively engage in the learning environment. Some simulated environments are difficult or impractical to create in the real world. So for example, imagine that there is a course on deep ocean biology, and they want to show the students bottom of the ocean. So it's impossible for people to go there. It's so risky. And imagine that we have a robot, we send it there, we create this environment, and then we bring it, and when we immerse the students in like VR, so that they can see things that they cannot see in reality. So we reached to this point that it cannot replace reality for sure, but it's very good. And for my case, for example, Persian language, we do not have any like study abroad program. We cannot send the students to Iran. So imagine that if I can show my students a restaurant in Tehran or a cultural play, a museum, and if I can immerse them there, if I can put them there virtually, so that would be perfect. So in that case, I think it's very effective to create impractical environments. Language technology can integrate all language skills like culture. So just I told you about like a museum in Tehran. It would be very big cultural experience if I can use it with technology. And it can be employed in content-based, project-based, proficiency-based approaches. It can also use all these modes of communicative modes like interpersonal, interpretive, and presentational that I will explain. For example, if we integrate AI, we can have interactions. We can have avatars that speak with learners and answer the questions. So it would be very interpersonal. Language technology is tireless, accurate, error-free, fair, flexible, adaptable, accessible, but it remains emotionless. While language technology has potential to enhance language learning, there is a need to ground it in effective pedagogical foundations. So just the fact that you use VR, you take Oculus headset into your classroom doesn't mean that you're using language technology. It has to be grounded in effective pedagogical foundation, and it has to have meaning, purpose, and it has to be connected to your other lesson plans and curriculum. So just without pedagogy, language technology would just be a cool toy. So instructional design practices, should prioritize this kind of like literacies and development of language skills and then focus on language functions if using language technology. So what is like virtual reality? So virtual reality is an innovative technology that constructs a 3D world through environments, enabling interactions facilitated by multisensory controllers. We also have augmented reality, in which we can augment and add other objects to that reality. We have mixed reality, which is like more recent. It means that you can add just reality to virtual reality. For example, you are in your classroom and you are at the same time in another location. So you see both of them. So it's called mixed reality. And then artificial intelligence. So we know that AI right now is being created by statistical methods, by learning from the experience of human being. So far it's okay, but we are waiting for something to come, which we call AI, generative AI, which means that it does not need us anymore. It can actually create intelligence by itself. So it can learn from itself like a human being. VR applications are found in army, in health, education, fashion, business, sport, media, construction, everywhere. For example, students of astronomy can study solar system virtually by physically interacting with content objects, which is in practical environments. Imagine that they want to send astronauts to Mars. So if they can immerse them in Mars location, and then they see the rocks and how to walk there. So this is like an amazing thing for those probably disciplines as well. Or students of surgery can practice surgery in simulators. We know that already we have pilots that use flight simulators. So what if I can send Persian students to a virtual tour in Tehran, in a restaurant, in a traditional restaurant? Or we can send ESL students of American history, for example, can attend a virtual White House tour. So this is a linked here, and this is an amazing experience. If you have Oculus, you can use it and then go and see President Obama is going to take you to White House and explain you everything, can sit in front of you and explain to you. So it's an amazing experience if you see that, as a kind of, educating yourself for American history. So VR has the potential to simulate learning environment, resulting in more interactions. It offers experiential learning through communicative activities in which learning happens through a creative process of discovery, expression, and synthesis. It facilitates an immersive and multi-sensory experience. This is like a summary of what we talked about. It's a novel means for TBLT, for task-based language teaching, because it encourages activities such as problem solving, which is one of the cognitive mechanisms that drives TBLT interactions. In education, these are some of these papers that worked on the role of virtual reality in education. For example, Monahan et al. 2008, VR increases interactivities. The other one, VR interactions enhance motivation and self-reflection. VR minimizes negative affective factors in learning environment. Education technology benefits learning autonomy. So just read all of them. Just these are like amazing things about VR and the technology in education. I studied one VR game. This is like a very small case study done by Smith and Makura in 2021. They designed a game that called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. They use a headset, Oculus headset, and 3 Japanese students of ESL at intermediate level participated. The task type was information gap. So they have to, find the information and put it in inside the structure that they need to finish. So the participant 1 should have like diffuses bombs. They had like 5 minutes and maximum 3 mistakes. The other participants, number 2 and 3, those are expert. They have to give instructions and assist the bomb diffuser. So the task involved wire cuttings, the code breaking, maze negotiation, number and password memorization, things like that. So it was fun, as they reported. They utilizes describing and communicating visual information, and they found that it facilitates collaboration and encourages asking questions and finding textual information. So all learners were successful in diffusing the bombs. Participants were surveyed and all expressed joy and fun playing the game. They used more accurate language and listened well to do the task accurately. So these are like what they reported. I'm also going to report my own findings. So I already talked about AI, so here, but probably I want to a little bit talk about our own role or teacher in the future, what will happen to us, because everybody say that, oh, you're going to be eliminated soon. We're going to have language teachers, AI teachers. So to what extent that is probably possible or impossible. So There are kind of a role of AI in virtual worlds like Convey AI, which I just checked it. This is a website that shows you is the conversational AI for virtual worlds. It consists of like avatars capable of communicating with language learners, adapting to their proficiency levels. It's currently available in English, Russian, Chinese, Spanish, and Hindi. Maybe they added more. I didn't check it recently. But this platform can be utilized to create AI assignments for language learners, which can be completed either at home or in a lab setting. So what would be the role of language instructor? I think that probably language instructors have to probably design task-based scenarios and facilitate meaningful interactions and role plays. In these scenarios, language learners can engage with either human participant or AI-enabled avatars. But this is to the point that we have just AI. So because AI learns from me, I have to give the data of my classrooms to the AI so that it learns from me and kind of replicate it in a more creative way. However, if we have generative AI, then this is like another thing. It would be like human intelligence. So AI probably is going to be creative and design something that maybe I haven't. So it is the time that we have to say goodbye to this world. And then I have heard that they're going to pay us to sit at home and do nothing. So we're going to talk about that. Anyway, there is a technology that I found also an amazing one recently. It's called Metaverse. It's a digital universe where users can interact with other users in a computer-generated environment. So Michael Zuckerberg and this guy actually went into a conversation virtually. So two people from two different parts of the world sitting in the same virtual environment. So I just probably can demonstrate
Following
it.
Conversation, Mark Zuckerberg, inside the metaverse. Mark and I are hundreds of miles apart from each other in physical space, but it feels like we're in the same room because we appear to each other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio. This technology is incredible, and I think it's the future of how human beings connect to each other in a deeply meaningful way on the internet. These avatars can capture many of the nuances of facial expressions that we humans use to communicate emotion to each other. Now, I just need to work on upgrading my emotion expressing capable
expressions that we made and
like skills.
kind of applications and the use
Yeah.
cases around it. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty wild next few years around this.
I mean, I'm actually almost at a loss for words.
So imagine that you can bring a native speaker and your students. Of course, you can use a mixed reality here in your classroom. So then the students see that a native speaker sitting in their classroom and they can talk to that person, you know. So miles away, but the same place. So these pictures that you see here, these two, these are like avatars. They're not real, but they scan themselves with their phones, and then the computer generates them inside that reality, virtual reality. So it's an amazing way, I think, in immersing students in like a very interactive kind of virtual environment. So what did I do in my pilot project? I designed a task that was a part of my curriculum. That task was navigating through location like a Persian restaurant with cultural elements and describing objects and locations. So the students had to, you know, be instructed to do something and explain something. The pilot project was done nicely, as I'm going to show you. It was not optimized because I wanted the students to instruct more than myself, but because we didn't have microphone and I wanted to demonstrate. So I'm going to show you those parts that I instructed them mostly, but the optimized way would be like the students instructing other students. So this task type is describing familiar objects, identifying cultural elements, navigating through a location. So the PTs for this task was again like speaking and listening activities of describing, navigating through location, instructing, identifying elements, and explaining cultural values. So I used the last thing, which was more analytical for the students who have higher level of proficiency. So I'm going to demonstrate that to you, and you're going to see. So we use Oculus MetaQuest, thanks to Center for Languages and Cultures that provided us with this headset. So the mode is simulation, and this is a group activity, teacher-led, student-led, and the level is intermediate. And it's only one module. So one module, so it means that we have already started, lessons that is about location. So they know the directions, they know, all kinds of prepositions that use like locative prepositions, and they can make sentences so there are intermediate level. So they know that how to describe things. So they already did some of this. So they are ready for doing a kind of interactive virtual activity in the classroom. So this lesson, this unit module was based on one of the modules of my textbook. It's about 12 intermediate level students navigating through a VR, and like 2 classroom, 1.4 and 1.12. It's a traditional restaurant that I found in one of these platforms called Matterport. But I'm going to tell you that you can also create those locations for yourself if you don't have access to such things that other people provided. And I gave them a survey questions with 9 questions. The feedback received from the students who participated in the pilot project was highly positive and encouraging. All the students expressed their interest in the project and actively participated. All the students expressed that their experience was very real and enjoyable. Only one student felt a bit of vertigo when moved around. I think she didn't have her glasses, but this is one of the things that we have to be careful when we use this kind of technology. We should not use any like environment that has movement in it, has a motion in it, because it would be kind of difficult for some of the students. I myself would will be like confused very quickly. So if the environment is like constant, does not have any movement, then that would be perfect. It wouldn't be any issue. This case study was very promising, but because of a small scale case study, its result cannot be generalized. So I'm going to demonstrate now. Let me share the video file. Okay. Let me share it again. Okay. Are you able to see it, Suzanne? Yeah. Okay.
اشکال نداره. خیلی خوب. توی اینجا که الان هستی، اینجا رو برامون توصیف کن. بگو که چیا جلوت می‌بینی؟
آره، اینجا یه میز سیاه است. روی میز 3 تا گلدون گل هستند.
بله.
و در سمت چپ اتاق 2 تا گلدون بزرگتر هست و 2 تا
پشت گلدونا چیه؟ اون میز قرمز. رو میز قرمز چیا می‌بینی؟
3 تا سماور دارن. یه چراغ و 3 تا
برو جلوتر. آها، حالا بگو.
نمیدونم به فارسی چی بگم.
چی هستن؟ احتمالاً نلبکی و استکان هستن. بله. لیوان نلبکی و استکان. بله. و چند تا سماور گفتی؟
3 تا.
3 تا سماور. بله خیلی خب، بپیچ به پشتت، به پشتت رو نگاه کن. بله اون گوشه چی میبینی سمت راست پایین؟
این
بله میتونی بری جلوتر که
آبشاره.
بله بچه ها این چیه؟ توی فارسی یک داشتیم. بله
حوض.
حوض. بله حوض با زا هم نوشته میشه. بله یه حوض آب هستش. بله و بالای حوض چیا میبینی؟
این یه عکس دختره و روسری پوشیده.
بله سمت راست.
و اینجا یه عکس دیگر.
بله یه تابلوه، درسته؟
تابلوه و یه دختر توش.
بله.
مستقیم برو، مستقیم برو، مستقیم برو. این چیه؟
این این تلویزیون. نه تلویزیون.
پایینشو نگاه کن، پایینشو.
فایرپلیس.
نه کسی میدونه این چیه؟ Anybody knows what is that؟ شما کلوی نمیدونید شما؟ بله فکر میکنی این چیز قدیمیه یا جدیده؟ قدیمیه. بله روش چه عکسایی میبینی؟
اینا شیرن و این یه مرد پیره اونجا.
بله
این بچه هست خیلی شبیه احمد قاجاره.
آفرین. بله شبیه قاجار هستن. بله بسیار خوب بچه ها، این یه چیزی بوده شبیه تلویزیون قدیم، لنز نگاه میکردن توش نقاشی میدیدن، بهش میگفتن شهر فرنگ. شهر فرنگ. بله شبیه تلویزیونه. بله ولی خیلی قدیمیه، اون موقع تلویزیون نبود.
بله. خب and probably one more demonstration.
بله سمت چپتون چی میبینید؟ بله اینجا رو دیوار چی میبینید؟
یه نقشه است.
بله نقشه کجاست؟
پرژا.
بله نقشه ایران باستان هست. بله بغل نقشه سمت چپ. بله چیه؟
اینجا؟
بله بله
یه ساعت خیلی بزرگ.
روی ساعت چی میبینی؟
سماوره؟
بله یه سماوره. بسیار
خیلی بزرگ.
بله بله خیلی خوب. به چرخ دوباره. ببین میتونی بری سمت در.
سمت در اینجا؟
در سمت راست. بله رو در کلیک کن، رو خود در.
کجا؟
اشکال نداره. اشکال نداره. اشکال نداره. مشکل نیست. خیلی خوب. روبرو سمت راستت چی میبینی؟ اون بله اینجا چی میبینی؟
اینجا دو تا قیلی گذاشتم. یه شراب اون بالا.
بله
بله.
و اون در حقیقت یک چیزی بود که شهر فرنگ. برای چیزایی که تو این رستوران میبینی به نظرت چی میخواد بگه؟ اینایی که گذاشته تو این رستوران میخواد چی بگه؟ چه چیزی رو نشون میده؟
So I'm asking this student which has a higher level of proficiency that what things in this what these elements showing? Can you analyze for me what it's showing and why?
میخواد بگه که این رستوران یه قدیمیه و
بله
دوست داره که فرهنگ ایرانی نشون بده.
آفرین. میخواد فرهنگ ایران نشون بده. Want to show Persian culture. بله بسیار خوب. از کجا فهمیدی فرهنگ ایران میخواد نشون بده؟ چه چیز فرهنگی دیدی که به ایرانی میخوره؟
چون خیلی از تابلوها داستانهای قدیمی نشون میده و لباسهای قدیمی.
بله شاهنامه مثلا بود. بله فرش بود. بله
و این ستاره.
بله ستاره. ستاره. بله بله
فکر میکنم مثل این قدیمیه.
بله بله اینم بربط هست. بربط که یک ساز موسیقی هست. بله
این
بله. Okay, I know it was Muslim Persian, so probably a bit difficult to understand what they were talking about. But in fact, the task was involved like instructions to navigate through the place. So as you see, you have to, in order to be successful in this kind of projects, you have to teach the students how to use the controllers. So some of them were like confusing because it was difficult. I assigned like an hour a session before that to teach them how to do that, but still it was kind of difficult because we only had one headset. But once they get hang of the controller and they can easily navigate through the place, it would be easier. And another aspect to use the technology is that we use the controller to walk because the classroom was small. So if you have a bigger classroom, you can define a barrier in the classroom so that the students are not, for example, are not facing with objects with obstacles in front of them, so they can walk. So if they walk, it would be simulated exactly as they're walking in that location. And if we have a better headset like the ones that Apple Vision made right now, it's using virtual reality. It has cameras, so it shows also the environment. So the person will see the environment, so can probably be careful not to hit anything. So that's some of the things that we found. The limitations of this technology. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to ask questions, that's okay. Otherwise, I can go on, and there are 3 more slides. If there is any question, go ahead right now, ask questions.
Peyman, would you like to finish your presentation? Like we have another 5 minutes and then we open the door for questions.
Okay, so I will finish it in 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
So training is essential for both instructors and learners to ensure successful lessons. As I told you, we have to teach them how to use these things. As an instructor, if you want to make a very nice environment, you have to probably either learn technology like Unity or collaborate with programmers that proficient in that area. You know that we have a center now in a 3rd floor that it probably is going to help professors or instructors who want to do project like this. Some of the other limitations, lack of seeing faces and feelings, face-to-face emotions, which is like our body language. Probably maybe in a few years later, we have metaverse, and that would be also not a limitation anymore. This is like still expensive technology. I think Oculus is about $500, but the better ones are very expensive, like $3,000. Then VR physical movement may cause nausea and vertigo, so we have to be careful not to choose motions for some of the students. There might be cognitive overload in virtual reality context. We have also to we have to be careful about that, not to put a lot of elements in that environment. And then finally, we know that I told you about that it's not a substitute for reality, but rather a way to enhance learning experience. And also, it's also time consuming if you want to create control groups for VR research. Suggestion for using technology. If you want to replicate this, don't buy a lot of Oculus headsets. Start with just few devices, maybe 1. Don't start with moving apps that have like roller coaster effects, so that you do not trigger motion sickness. Consider training time for using for learners. Develop 1 or 2 lessons to start with VR. And then you may think of developing your own VR at the beginning, but you will find out that there are available apps for language learning, so you can use those apps as well. The reflections, the potential applications of VR is vast. given that it's a relatively new technology. Additional research and exploration are necessary. But there is a lack of VR and AI-based pedagogies right now. Research could have not caught up with the pace of technology yet, I would say. It is crucial to acknowledge that technology alone without a solid theoretical foundation and relevant pedagogy is merely a novelty. So we have to also think about that. It's very important as teacher. VR and AR have the potential to provide learners with immersive and multi-sensory experiences, enhancing their language learning journey. And then the need for appropriate training and support for educators is a challenge. So VR requires instructors to develop new pedagogical strategies and become proficient in utilizing the technology effectively. Professional development programs and ongoing supports are essential to ensure educators can maximize the benefit of VR in their teaching. These are technical steps that I followed. So if you want to do that, so you saw that I projected the environment in the classroom so that the students can see and can feel what the other students are doing. But if you have enough Oculus and you have practice using it enough, then you can put all the students in that environment. But for a start, I highly recommend you to do this. So you can use a Chrome browser. With Chrome browser, you can project everything into the projector or casting it to the projector. So it's easy. I use matterport.com for my environment. Search it. You can find, for example, Louvre Museum in there, and it's for free, and you can use it. Actually, you can use it in your classroom. And there are also a list of apps that probably I think CLC also provided instructor with. So there are different apps that are also available, like Immerse or Immerse Me, Special, Monday, Wonder, Alcove. These are all things that are available. And these are also my references. So probably this presentation will be recorded. So feel free to check also this literature. Okay. So go ahead and ask questions.
Thanks,
So
Peyman.
yeah. So one question is that
yeah.
what? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, for me? Okay. Thank you, Peyman. That was very interesting. And it was fun hearing your students talk and get introduced to water pipes and all kinds of interesting, fun stuff. So I have the question, but you responded at the end that it is through Chrome projector that we could see in the back the projection of what for the other students, since you were using one headset. So is the big advantage of using the headset and VR for the student to feel in that place, and then in order to, as they turn the projection of what they're seeing, you get a 360 versus using images, which is what, you know, until now, which is what we've been doing, is projecting images, asking them to imagine they're there, describe what they see. So what is that the big benefit of it, or?
The big benefit is when they walk actually through the place and we instruct them to do, for example, if I say, go straight, turn right, do you see the door? Go and open the door. So it walks and open the door. So it's like, you know, if you can implement all those instructions, it's like total physical response, you know, you instruct and person is walking really. So you cannot do it in, it's a real restaurant. It's a real Persian restaurant in a location that is inaccessible. So in that sense, is unique. It's not just pictures. And also students are, you know, this new generation of students are really fan of technology. So they were very, very excited. So they liked this so much. So I would show you their comments. They said that, can we do this type of exercises more? So they were all excited to do it. And I let them all to experience it. So it's amazing. So the experience itself is very amazing. And I think once they focus on the learning aspects of it, then they start to ask also questions, like the student asking me that, oh, I don't know what they call it in Persian. So they come to that point that they're looking for vocabulary, and then you provide them. It would be more effective because it's like, you know, focusing on form, as we talked about. And also, if there are any errors or thing you want to give feedback on it, it would be like, again, in an environment that they're seeing things, and you know, so you can actually incorporate a lot of things in it. You can incorporate AI. So for example, you can put a person there, and the person is a native speaker, and sitting there, and then once the students go there and say hi, and then start to communicate with that person. So I think it wouldn't be just pictures. It would be motions. It would be immersing in environments. And also, for example, imagine that you're walking on you know, a real museum, and you're seeing those cultural things that would be really difficult to even if you want to travel and there is no ban for travel, that would be difficult to take students to that museum, you know. So my own experience when I went to the virtual tour of White House, it was amazing. It's totally different from seeing just pictures of White House. I really felt that I'm there, and I was walking, actually. I was just walking to the rooms. So you have to have a good periphery around yourself so that you can walk, and then it would be really, really different. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think that with this, I also answered the question by Evgeny. She asked what is one major benefit of VR for us and our students. I think the major benefit is that our students are being immersed in practical environments, and they can see cultural elements. They can interact with probably you know, with the environment. They can follow instructions. So it's very beneficial. For example, the device that you see in that the restaurant that called Shahr Farang, it was an old thing. So I wasn't really expecting to see something like that there. It's an old thing, but it was interesting for the student to recognize the engraving on it, the picture of one of the historical kings that he was able to you know, answer that, because we did a course on history and we learned about like you know, some of these more contemporary figures in our history. So they were kind of recycling all those information. We learned about music. They had a course about music instruments. So for example, he was like able to you know, retrieve that information, said this is tar, which was like a guitar type instrument. And then other students were like able to really use the vocabulary and also the structures, like describing tasks. And also I asked the students that, why do you think that they put these elements here? And what is the significance of this, you know, cultural elements? And he told me it was like an analysis type of you know, task, was like looking for the answer, and they immediately found out that, okay, these elements are cultural. So they wanted to kind of probably tell the people who are their customers in the restaurant that we value the culture. That's why they put these things. So I think in that case, it's very beneficial for the students, for the learners.
Can I ask another question?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
And somebody wants to jump in. I was wondering, so Evgeny put in the chat that, you know, you can check out Oculus sets for you and your students. So Peyman, if I wanted to do so in this last part of the semester, what would I need to do?
If you want to replicate something like this?
If I want to try something like this, yeah.
Yeah. So first start to get the Oculus, educate yourself about it. I highly recommend you to do some of the YouTube, go to YouTube on the headset, and then go to VR, YouTube VR. Don't go to the motion ones. Just, for example, start with that tour in the White House, search VR tour of White House, and it comes up. And then also go to some of the museums in France, for example. And then try to experience it, you know, and then find out if you can find a good location. Then go to Matterport matterport.com. I think you have to create an account. It's for free. So, and then search for the environments. So they have environments that are constant environments, and then you can use that environment in your classroom. Browse to it, go with your Chrome browser to it, and then just try to use Oculus. So you have to actually do everything by yourself before giving it to students. And then once the students are in the class, you have to assign one session to teach them how to use the controllers. And then in order to be sanitary, I also use alcohol wipes in order to clean the Oculus when they use it. Every person we cleaned it. And then if you want to, because it was for me also, I was recording it, so it was also difficult for me. Then I edited it. I put the projector on, so I have like several cameras in order to create this demonstration. But it's not that difficult. You can do that probably. If you have any question, I'm more than happy to help you at any step of the way.
Thank you.
Sure.
Peyman,
Yeah.
I have a question. So
Sure.
did you like from your experience, did students get the chance to, because now I see like one student is doing something and the other students are like passive learners, they are just sitting to watch. Like, how do you find students learning more from them, from this kind of activity than them like working together, working groups? Or if you sometimes, like I invite students from my advanced course to come and talk with students from like at the beginner level, and I feel like the real communication is missing. Like, this is nice, but I don't feel the human communication.
Yeah. So in fact, most of the thing that we did was all the students participated. So because they were very excited, they were watching it. But the ones that I chose for demonstrating was the ones that had the better sound, so that I can demonstrate it. But if I show you the other ones that the students are instructing, that you're not going to hear it because there was the microphone. The students were far from the camera. But in fact, it was designed for the other students to instruct. So I paired the students, and I asked the one student to instruct the other student. And I told them, I gave them the scenario that, for example, you have to navigate this student from the entrance into the, for example, one of the tables. And then you have to ask the students to show you different elements in that place, different locations. So they were cooperating with each other, and in fact, some of the questions that I raised, I also asked from the class, from other students as well. But if you want to make a kind of like more interactive design task, they have to have enough headsets to give everybody headsets and put them all in that environment, and then design the task before they do that relevant to that environment, and then they start to interact with each other, So I would imagine that some of this would be stationary, so they have to sit because classroom is small, they cannot walk around, but they can use the controllers to go different ways. And Evgeny is telling me that there is a company that is going to create customized environment for us. So if I said that right now we are doing kitchens for Spanish and Russian, but if you're interested, you can ask them to create an environment for you. And then with that said, I think to design a better, more communicative, more active environment, you need a more probably more elements to put in there. You have to have a better technology. So I think it was a pilot project. It was something that I just wanted to focus on one aspect. Of course, it's not probably optimized, but I'm sure that it's a start. It's the start, and later works will be much more better. I myself, I'm thinking of designing better tasks that, for Persian the environments are very limited, because if I want to create an optimized environment, I have to go to Iran. I have to have these cameras, 36-degree cameras, and I start creating the environment. I start to record the location, and then bring back the location, and then and create my activity. So it takes time. It takes time, and it would also have some costs. Not very expensive, but some costs. But I believe that probably USC Dornstaff CLC can provide us with budgets in order to create courses totally virtual reality and AI. But in that case, we can assign some time to that project, go and record the environment. So I just wanted to demonstrate that this thing can be done, and the start of the project.